Imagine standing outside a house that seems to breathe, a house that feels alive. In the heart of San Diego's old town sits the Whaley House, silent, weathered, and steeped in mystery. Its brick walls bear witness to a past most would rather forget, yet it stands here, as if unwilling to let go of the memories it holds. Locals whisper that this house isn't like other places. They say it feels heavy, as if the walls themselves are carrying the weight of something unseen, something that hasn't quite left. They say that when the night falls, the Whaley House transforms. The temperature drops, even when it's warm outside, and an unsettling silence wraps around the house like a shroud. Step close enough, and you'll feel it, a strange prickling at the back of your neck, a shiver that defies explanation. Some say it's just the chill of an old building, but others, they say it's the past reaching out to the present, a past full of shadows, secrets, and a darkness that has lingered here for over a century. This isn't just any house. It's one of the most haunted places in America, a place where people claim they've seen figures out of the corner of their eye, heard footsteps in empty hallways, felt a presence watching them from the shadows. And if you're brave enough to cross the threshold, you might find that once you step inside, something in the air changes. A presence thick, heavy, almost suffocating, as though the very air is filled with something it cannot release. In 1857, Thomas Whaley set out to build a new life for his family on a plot of land that would become infamous. He was a man of ambition, eager to establish roots in the growing town of San Diego, and he poured his wealth into constructing a home that would be both grand and enduring. The house he built would serve many purposes: a family residence, a general store, San Diego's first commercial theater, even a courthouse. But Whaley was about to learn that some foundations go deeper than brick and stone. Beneath the surface, this land held secrets, shadows, and a history that could not simply be buried. Before Thomas Whaley ever laid the first brick, the land on which the house now stands had already witnessed death. It was a place of public executions, where condemned men took their final breath before gathered crowds. One such man was James Yankee Jim Robinson, a towering figure convicted of attempted grand larceny. In 1852, he was sentenced to hang here, in a grim spectacle that left its mark on the soil. Yankee Jim's execution was not swift. His feet barely touched the ground, and he struggled as the noose tightened, gasping for life and a prolonged, agonizing end. Thomas Whaley himself was there, watching the spectacle. It's said that he was unfazed, seeing an opportunity in the cheap price of the land. A few years later, he would buy this very plot and build his family's future upon it, seemingly undeterred by the shadows that already lingered. But even the strongest foundations cannot withstand the weight of tragedy. Not long after moving into their new home, the Whaley family faced their own heartbreak. In 1858, Thomas and his wife Anna lost their youngest son, Thomas Jr., to scarlet fever. He was just 18 months old. The house that was meant to be their sanctuary now held the grief of a lost child, a sorrow that would never truly fade. The nursery remained empty, filled with toys that would never again be touched, and the silence that followed was almost palpable, a sorrow woven into the very fabric of the home. But the shadows over the Whaley family didn't end there. As the years passed, their second daughter, Violet, would face a heartbreak of her own. In 1882, she married a man named George T. Bertolacci, hoping to start a new chapter in her life. But shortly after the wedding, Violet's dreams were crushed. George abandoned her almost immediately, revealing his true intentions, a scheme to claim her family's wealth. Disgraced and humiliated, Violet returned to her family home, carrying a sorrow that would not ease. In a society where a woman's reputation was everything, Violet's shame weighed heavily on her spirit. She fell into a deep depression, a despair so profound that even her family's love could not lift her from it. On the morning of August 18, 1885, at the age of 22, Violet took her own life in the house, leaving behind a haunting note with verses from Thomas Hood's poem, The Bridge of Sighs. Mad from life's history, swift to death's mystery, glad to be hurled, anywhere, out of this world. Her tragic death left the Whaley family shattered. For Anna, already burdened by the loss of her son, losing Violet to such a sorrowful fate was almost unbearable. Thomas Whaley, once a man of strength and resilience, was visibly broken, his spirit diminished. The house that was meant to be a testament to their future now felt more like a mausoleum, a place where love and hope had turned to grief and silence. Her spirit, they say, never truly left. Even to this day, visitors report sensing Violet's lingering presence in the parlor where she died. Some say they hear faint sobbing in the early hours, while others claim to have seen a figure of a young woman by the upstairs window, her face filled with longing and sorrow. Her spirit, they say, remains bound to the house, unable to escape the sadness that once consumed her life. The Whaley house has become a testament to the tragedies that shaped it. Each room holds a memory, each creaking floorboard a whisper of those who lived, loved, and lost within its walls. And as the years pass, the sorrow of the Whaley family remains woven into the fabric of the house, a haunting reminder of lives touched by heartbreak and tragedy. Even today, visitors to the house claim to hear soft sobbing in the early hours, echoing down the empty hallways. Others report seeing a faint figure standing by an upstairs window, gazing out as if waiting for someone who will never return. As the years passed, the Whaley house became more than a historical landmark. It transformed into a focal point for tales of the unexplained. Visitors and staff alike have recounted experiences that defy logical explanation, each story adding another layer to the house's enigmatic reputation. One such account comes from a visitor who, while exploring the second-floor bedroom, felt an abrupt drop in temperature. She described it as if a cold hand had brushed against her arm, sending chills down her spine. Despite the warm summer day outside, the room remained unnaturally cold, leaving her with an unsettling feeling she couldn't shake. Another tale involves a tour guide who, during an evening tour, noticed a shadowy figure at the end of the hallway. Believing it to be a guest who had strayed from the group, she called out, but received no response. As she approached, the figure seemed to dissolve into the darkness, leaving her standing alone in the silent corridor. Perhaps one of the most compelling stories is that of a young couple visiting the house. While in the courtroom area, they heard faint sounds of a piano playing. Intrigued, they followed the melody to the music room, only to find it empty. The piano stood untouched, its keys still. The music ceased as abruptly as it had begun, leaving the couple questioning their own senses. These experiences are not limited to visitors. Staff members have their own stories to tell. One longtime caretaker recalls hearing footsteps on the stairs late at night, long after the house had been closed to the public. Investigating the source, he found no one, yet the sound of footsteps continued, ascending and descending, as if an invisible presence was pacing the halls. In the parlor room, a docent reported seeing the chandelier sway gently, despite the absence of any breeze. She watched, transfixed, as the crystals caught the light, casting dancing reflections on the walls. The movement persisted for several minutes before coming to an abrupt halt, leaving her to wonder if she had witnessed a manifestation of the house's spectral inhabitants. These accounts, while varied, share common elements: sudden chills, unexplained sounds, and fleeting apparitions. They paint a picture of a house that is very much alive with the echoes of its past. But among these stories, one encounter stands out, a chilling experience that left an indelible mark on those involved. The Whaley house's reputation as a nexus of supernatural activity has drawn the attention of numerous paranormal investigators, each seeking to uncover the mysteries that lie within its walls. Over the years, both seasoned professionals and curious enthusiasts have embarked on nocturnal explorations, armed with an array of sophisticated equipment designed to detect the unseen. In one notable investigation, A team from the renowned Ghost Adventure series conducted an extensive overnight study of the property. Utilizing electromagnetic field, EMF, detectors, they recorded significant fluctuations in areas associated with reported hauntings, particularly near the staircase, where visitors have often sensed an unseen presence. These spikes, unexplained by any electrical sources, suggested the possibility of paranormal energy concentrated in specific locations. Electronic voice phenomena, EVP, sessions have yielded some of the most compelling evidence. Investigators have captured disembodied voices, responding to direct questions. In the courtroom, a recorder picked up a faint, yet distinct, male voice uttering the word guilty, despite the room being empty at the time. Such instances raise intriguing questions about residual energies, replaying moments from the past. Thermal imaging cameras have also detected anomalies. In the parlor, where Violet Whaley tragically ended her life, investigators observed cold spots that defied natural explanation. These temperature drops, forming the outline of a human figure, were consistent with reports from visitors who felt sudden chills in the same area. The correlation between these technological findings and personal experiences adds a layer of credibility to the accounts of paranormal activity. Motion-activated cameras have captured shadowy figures moving through hallways, only to vanish upon closer inspection. In one instance, a camera positioned in the nursery recorded the rocking chair moving gently, despite the absence of any drafts or external forces. This phenomenon aligns with stories from guests who have witnessed the chair swaying on its own, as if lulled by an invisible hand. While skeptics argue that such occurrences can be attributed to environmental factors or equipment malfunctions, the consistency and frequency of these findings across multiple investigations suggest a pattern that is difficult to dismiss outright. The Whaley House continues to be a focal point for those seeking to understand the intersection of history and the supernatural, its walls holding secrets that modern science strives to explain. As technology advances, so too does the methodology of paranormal research. Yet, despite the sophisticated tools at their disposal, investigators often find that the most profound experiences are those that defy quantification. The fleeting glimpse of a shadow, the inexplicable whisper in an empty room, the palpable sense of being watched. These moments serve as a reminder that some mysteries remain beyond our grasp, lingering in the spaces between the known and the unknown. In the annals of the Whaley House's haunted history, one encounter stands out, a chilling experience that left an indelible mark on those involved. It was a quiet night, the kind that makes every creak and whisper seem amplified. A security guard, tasked with the routine patrol of the premises, began his rounds, unaware that this night would be anything but ordinary. As he ascended the staircase, the air grew noticeably colder, each step accompanied by an unsettling sense of being watched. Reaching the second floor, he was drawn to the master bedroom, where the door stood ajar. Pushing it open, he was met with an inexplicable sight, the faint outline of a man standing by the window, gazing out into the night. The figure was dressed in 19th century attire, his presence both commanding and eerie. Frozen in place, the guard's mind raced. Was this an intruder, or something far more sinister? Summoning his courage, he called out, but the figure remained motionless, unresponsive. Taking a cautious step forward, the guard's breath caught in his throat as the figure slowly turned to face him. The man's features were unmistakable. Thomas Whaley himself, the patriarch of the house, long deceased yet standing before him. Before the guard could react, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, echoing through the halls. The figure of Thomas Whaley vanished, leaving the guard alone in the room, heart pounding, the scream still reverberating in his ears. Overwhelmed by fear and disbelief, he fled the house, abandoning his post, never to return. This harrowing experience is not an isolated incident. Visitors and staff have reported similar sightings. A man in period clothing appearing and disappearing without a trace, accompanied by unexplained sounds that defy rational explanation. These encounters serve as a chilling reminder that the Whaley House is more than a historical landmark. It is a place where the past and present intertwine, and where the spirits of those who once lived there may still linger, unseen yet ever present. The Whaley House stands as more than a relic of history. It is a place where stories continue to breathe, where memories from the past refuse to fade into silence. What keeps drawing people here? Is it the allure of a beautiful, historic home? Or is it the promise of a glimpse beyond our understanding? A brush with the unknown? In its walls, the Whaley House holds the echoes of tragedy, despair, and perhaps even redemption. Some visitors feel the sorrow of lost lives, while others experience chilling encounters that linger long after they've left. Each story, each shadowed hallway, whispers of those who came before. Thomas Whaley, his family, and perhaps the spirit of Yankee Jim, forever bound to this land. What is it that ties these souls to this place? Are they seeking peace? Or do they remain here for reasons beyond our comprehension? The countless investigations, the captured voices, the figures that appear and vanish without explanation, all point to something that lies just beyond our grasp. But for all the tales we've uncovered, the Whaley House keeps its deepest secrets locked away, as though guarding a part of itself. And for every question answered, new mysteries arise. What remains hidden here, waiting to be discovered? One thing is certain, the Whaley House holds more than memories. It holds mysteries that will continue to haunt the minds of those who dare to seek answers. But there's one story, darker than all the rest, that remains untold for now. If stories of haunted places and hidden mysteries captivate you, don't miss out on what's coming next. Subscribe to our channel and join us as we explore more sites shrouded in darkness, where every corner holds a secret and every shadow tells a story. Turn on notifications so you'll be the first to hear our next haunting tale. There are more mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Will you be there to witness them?